Good morning and welcome to another fun episode of Daddykirbs Live here on Saturday morning on the Daddykirbs Farm channel, where the thumbnail image often has very little to do with what we actually talk about. Although we will talk about bees today. It is a beautiful, slightly breezy, a little bit cool, but beautiful morning here in South Texas. Mama Kirbs will be out here with us in a little bit. She's inside taking care of Luke, and she said she was bringing out my tea. I hope that's true. We'll see. I thought I'd give you a little view of the garden space this morning. It's probably not the best view, but there it is. There's the garden, and we do have the cornhole board set up. Again, thank you, Tim and family, for helping out with that. You have brought many blessings onto our family by providing us with that, because we just have had a ball over and over and over with that cornhole game. Okay, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. You guys can help me out, but Mama Kirbs is coming out. I have a set of star bean bags and a set of stripe bean bags. And I would like somehow for there to be interaction between you guys and us to giving us a prompt or a reason for us to throw our individual bean bags. And by the end of the show, all bean bags should have been thrown, and we'll see if stars or stripes wins. So I don't know how that's going to work. It may be a complete flop, like some of my beekeeping. That's not what I meant. Anyway, let's see how it goes. And yeah, it's cool. It's probably in the 70s. What is it this morning, Kate? What's the temperature? I have no idea. Let's see here. Mama Kirbs would not do the show this morning without notes. So she wrote notes, and then she's not out here. So maybe it's up to me to follow her notes. I know that she wants to come out and give the Luke update at a minimum because, oh, you are bringing my tea. Here she comes. All right. Thank you, sweetheart.
What a miss.
Drinking the Kai tea. We've missed giving Kai tea away, but you know, with not going to the mailbox very much, post office, I almost forgot what it was called. We haven't done the giveaways. I did run down there this morning, run in real quick to get some things out of the post office box. And there was already a line of people, and everyone's wearing masks, and I felt bad that I wasn't wearing a mask. But I ran in, checked my mail, and ran out. I didn't bother anyone. So, okay.
Such a different world living with masks now. I think it's gonna be around for a long time, but
I hope not too long.
I went to the grocery store yesterday and I wore my mask. It's the first time I've been to the grocery store since March 14th, so long time.
Been a little while.
So.
Yes. Thank you, Karen, for that little prompt. I haven't started officially. We haven't started officially because we haven't done the thank you to my moderators. You guys really help out a lot. Thank you to my patrons, those who contribute financially through Patreon, PayPal, and Squirrels, and sometimes checks in the mail. Thank you very much for that. You guys really do help keep this show going. And a big thank you to my followers in general who watch my videos and share my videos, because without you, there wouldn't be a show at all. So also, we do believe here on the Daddykirbs Farm and everywhere that everyone has a story and every story counts. We believe your story counts because we believe you count. So that leads us to our pledge, where we sit up straight as we can, put our hand on our chest, and we say, my story counts because I count.
My story counts because I count.
You do count, sweetheart.
Kate's telling you to throw the beanbag.
Well, I guess that's the prompt.
Are
Okay.
we getting ready to start?
There's gotta be something.
Are we doing cornhole first?
Well, no, not. What I would like for the cornhole thing, the interaction, is that throughout the show, there's a prompt for stripes, a prompt for stars, and it's kind of staggered through the whole show. And then by the end of it, we'll just see who wins.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and start it with the prompt of people asking me to throw the beanbag, and so there's got to be something though.
Stars, stripes.
I know, but I'm thinking something that just kind of organically happens in the show that I don't know. Maybe I'm just making it up. But let's go ahead and throw
Like
this.
Squirrel?
Well, but I don't want to say that it depends on money. But
No,
anyway.
I meant like like people say squirrel, like distraction. So if there's
Oh,
a
right.
word to distract you.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll come up with something. It might not happen in this show, but if we continue this, the audience, this beautiful audience, will help us figure it out. Did you already figure it
Came
out?
up with an idea.
Let me see your idea.
Every time someone says an herb, you throw a beanbag.
An herb or a herb? A Herbie herb? Okay. Or a Herbie Kirby herb? Herbie Kirby Herbie Herbie? Okay.
You've not been practicing.
Well, I'm going to blame it. The sun's in my eyes.
Or the tree branches over your head.
All right.
So I'm going to go shut the pool door thing.
Oh,
And-
yeah, because that's not very attractive back there.
And someone mentioned every time it closes, throw a beanbag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, maybe
It could be something animal related, like something happens, but that's so unpredictable. We might not throw beanbags. Throw the beanbag whenever the pool access door opens up. Yeah, it just didn't get latched. Hey, Julie with the first squirrel of the morning. Peace to all, asking for prayer for hubby and while fighting our health and financial situation in isolation with him in a home for care. Julie, I'm so sorry that you're struggling with those things, but yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking for prayer. Thank you for asking the community to come together with you and be concerned about that. Herb squirrel. Okay, so when she comes back, she's gonna throw her first beanbag. You gotta throw your first beanbag.
backwards.
Yeah, over the shoulder. Hey, you did as well as I did.
I like to try to do what you do.
Yeah. Maybe it should be something with cats. I'm sure anyway, we'll figure it out. All right. Okay, let's see who's here this morning. I'm going to start at the bottom and scroll up. Lone Star Living. Good morning, Julie. Julie started the morning with a prayer request and a squirrel.
Okay, wonderful.
So,
Put that here in prayer.
Inside Kate's Kitchen.
Morning, Kate.
Kilted Gardener. Wheat Tree Bonsai.
Morning, Wheat Tree. Mr. Patient.
Hey, there you go.
Morning.
Mr. Patient is here.
Morning.
Ellydale Homestead. Is it Ellydale?
Morning.
Or Elldale? Ellydale.
Morning.
Shock Samuth, where do you live? We're in Texas. The best country on the planet.
Karen. Good
Kicking it with
morning.
Karen. There's Julie Squirrel. Wheat Tree with a cattle prod. I never know what I'm being prodded for.
Reginald.
Reginald Roberts. Pine City Apiary. We're going to have some chat this morning about bees, and you asked a question, Paul, and I want to answer that when we get to the bees section, whenever that is. Let's see, who else? I might not get to everybody. Kenan Yusufov? Dina?
Good morning.
Okay, let's go back down to the bottom. And,
Big squirrel. Look at that.
oh, holy moly, what happened?
Yeah.
I missed it.
Wow.
Super squirrel. Woo!
Wow.
Building with
Wow,
Brian. What are you
Brian.
doing this morning?
Wow.
You didn't even make a note. So Building with Brian
Wow.
is a buddy of mine. I don't know if you know this. We've met several
You have a
times.
shirt, don't you?
I do have a shirt, and I keep meaning to make that a part of the
What's your
show.
favorite color?
It's gray. I like gray shirts. I like white shirts too. Building with Brian has a great
Wow.
story through adopting kids and building a house and lots of other really cool stuff. Check out Building with Brian. And Brian, I can't even believe what you just did this morning. Thank you very much.
No, I'm speechless.
Speechless, I say. If you say I'm speechless, are you really?
I am at the moment.
Let's see. Oh, Elliedale, we got it right, from Australia. Nice. Our Australian friends are always fun. They have lots of really cool things to say. Their names are fun.
Always wanted to go there.
Yeah, we would like to. Yes.
Oh, Brian has a T-shirt giveaway.
Yeah. So actually, Brian's offering for me to give away. Let's just do that this morning. Let's just say, because Brian is offering that if I give away a T-shirt, he will put the winner in contact with Brian, and Brian then will organize the size and the color and make sure that you get whoever wins will get the T-shirt. So
Very exciting. Show you'll get the shirt.
Yeah.
Show everybody.
yes, we'll show off the shirt that we have, and then Brian will. I assume it's the same style, same pattern. Teo one's out. He's letting us know. Yeah, Kate is ready for the giveaway. Kate is very handy with the spreadsheets, so she organizes, puts everything in there. All right, so she's gonna bring out the shirt, and so in order to enter for the shirt, you would say, let's see. I love building with Brian's story. Why not? I love building with Brian's story. You say that in the comments, and Building with Brian will, in the end, give you the winner. Kate's going to organize. Man, I'm all lost. Kate's going to organize and choose by random.org at the end, and then the winner will be sent to. There it is. So there's the front, Building with Brian. Nice little logo, and then on the back, a nice big logo, and it's a very nice charcoal color. Now it doesn't have to be charcoal for you. I don't guess. I don't know. That'll be between you and Brian. Yes, I should have wore that this morning.
You look good in gray.
Thank you.
That's exciting. Start May off with a giveaway. We've never given away a T-shirt.
Giveaway May. I love Building with Brian's story. That's if they say that, they're going to be in the
Okay.
giveaway. So that's why we're going to be seeing that for a little bit. I went to Daddykirbs and all I got was this T-shirt. It is a very nice T-shirt, and Brian, apologies for not bringing that out to a show earlier.
Walk away and change shirts. And then good morning from Ohio. She loves Building with Brian. They love Building with Brian.
Who's from Ohio? Oh, Mikhail Rogers from Ohio. Okay, let me have my shirt. Okay, you can start the Luke update
Okay.
while I put my T-shirt on.
The Luke update. Well, Monday's his birthday. He turns 23, and he's been counting down the days. So we're trying to come up with ideas to have a party and stay safe. There you go.
It's over my other shirt. There, now it's...
It's like the 80s.
Yeah.
When we used to wear T-shirts.
Yeah, and roll up the sleeves. I never was very cool, though, in the 80s.
So, yeah, I think we're gonna maybe do a Zoom birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we can all dance and play some music, and I don't know. I ordered him some clothes because
Yeah, we should organize a Zoom call for Monday night. That's his birthday. Let's do it. We're doing it. I will put out the Zoom call link in the family group. I don't want to put it out for like the entire world, just because I don't want.
You're gonna have to maybe prepare maybe Sunday night as to what time we'll do it on Monday. That way people will be not all of a sudden strung on.
Yeah, pay attention in the family group. I just got distracted by dead cat on mic. I don't have a dead cat. I don't have a microphone on this camera, this phone. So
Is it pretty windy?
I guess the wind noise is picking. Last week they made comments about the wind noise too.
You have to do the porch thing.
No, I don't want to be on the porch. I like it out here.
So anyway, so I ordered him some clothes because now he's up to 129.
129. This boy is gaining weight, and his muscles are getting thick. His smile is getting it better. He does still have slumpy moments. Is that a very good word?
He's more like, oh, honey.
Yeah, he kind of has moments where he regresses into himself a little bit, but he comes out of it much faster now than he had in the past. I mean, he spent probably 2 years in that slump, and now he spends most days engaging. We were kind of binging while I was editing video last night. They were binging on Life with Luke videos and watching how Luke used to interact, and he's getting back to that level. We should have done more videos of him not interacting and being slumpy, but it was kind of depressing. Like, I just didn't want to record that.
Because I never wanted to rewatch.
Yeah, but it is Life with Luke. There was
Yeah.
a whole section there. I mean, we should have done that, but we didn't. So, but he's coming back, and we're very happy about that.
Can't hear you. What wind noise? Oh.
Can't hear you from the wind.
So.
Oh, Tam.
So he's doing good with that, and so I ordered him some new clothes. I think I've said that 3 times now, but I got distracted. So this week we went to the doctor. It was really hard for me to decide whether to go or not, but we had done a Zoom call with his neurologist, and he felt like we should go. And so this doctor's appointment.
I do look good in charcoal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look, I have weight in trouble. So this was a vascular surgeon doctor to do a second opinion on his circulation. And so we sat in the car and put on our mask. Luke and I did, only Luke and I. And then they came and got us, and then they took us in straight to the room. They wore their mask the whole time. We wore our mask the whole time. But the good thing is that everything looked good. The surgeon said, I'm a vascular surgeon. And he said, I feel really good pulses in his feet where they need to be. He said, they're a little less in the top of the feet, but I'm not concerned. He said, he's very healthy. I'm not concerned about him at all. He said, come back and see me if he ever has a wound that's not healing, and then we'll go from there. But he was really happy with how good Luke looked. And I was really happy to hear that he felt a strong pulse.
Yeah, so that was the concern. I'm sure you already said it, but when he went to get a ingrown toenail fixed, there was concern because that doctor didn't feel a pulse. And at that time, it may have been lower, but he's been getting healthier, so maybe it has improved. So he's improved.
So we're very excited about that. And then we do our usual routine all day long, and then when there's a pause, I say, what do you want to do now? Do you want to do cornhole? And he says, I already did cornhole. So the things he likes to do is he likes to do his yoga ball, his weights, ride his bike, cornhole, getting in the pool.
And yoga.
And yoga. So that's what we do all day long.
If you guys haven't ever seen, and I'm going to promote their channel. They don't need promoted. Oh my goodness, they get millions and millions of views. But Cosmic Kids, storytelling and yoga.
So
Luke
fun.
Loves it.
We do the same one every time. But
Yes,
he knows the poses though.
So far, we've only done one story, but he loves that same story over and over because he can anticipate what's happening. And it's man, I wish I would have started a yoga channel telling stories because she is killing it.
But you have
Of course,
to
I
be a
probably
really
wouldn't.
good storyteller.
And
She's so
at yoga.
charismatic, and I wish I had that.
What are you talking about? I'm not a good storyteller.
So that's the Luke update.
She didn't say no.
Oh, we didn't.
Happy's in the house.
we didn't
What?
do that.
Oh. Well, I can if you want to talk to them, I can run and get.
I can go get the critter of the day.
But we can't both be gone at the same time.
Let me talk about the critter, and then you run and get your prop.
Okay.
Oh, do you want to talk?
Yeah, let's talk about mail first. Man, we're all over the place. So I went down to the post office real quick this morning. We got a postcard from Heritage Ways talking about the San Antonio missions, because while they were here, they got to visit the missions, and it was really cool. So thank you, Heritage Ways, for your continued communication and effort there. The postcards are really cool and educational. Also, we got a letter, a long handwritten letter from let's see, Luana. I hope I say these names right. Luana from Ohio. She was concerned about my dead cat fuzzy microphone in the beekeeping, so she actually sewed for me a cover to put over the dead cat. So I'm sure she did this before I stole Mama Kirbs' socks and made my own little thing. But so I think I'm going to try this. I'm going to put that dead cat back on, and I'm going to slide this over and see if the cheesecloth covering will help the bees not hate my dead cat. Dead cat is the microphone cover for anyone not picking up on that. All right, you got some critters.
Yeah.
I'll let you chat about the critters, and I'll go and get my prop for my little section. Be prepared for some amazing critters. Okay, there.
So, I know you guys have already seen the babies, but I wanted to show you what they look like now. So this is the Brahma. She's got the fur all the way to the feet. And isn't she pretty? So this is the Brahma compared to the salmon favor. Let's see if I can put them together. Closer. This is the salmon favor. And here's the Brahma. The Favorite will have puffy cheeks, and you can kind of see if she sits back. Let's see. She'll have puffy cheeks like an Americana, but she doesn't have the fluffy feet all the way to the toes. She just has it on her legs. I can't remember how old they are. I think they're 3 weeks. The Brahmas get a normal size. They're just fluffier. I think they're more fuller though than like the Rhode Island Reds. They're more of a thicker bird. But what's interesting is that they have a mama. So I had a broody Silky. I'll get her. Oh, she's upset that I took her away from her babies. Come here. So here's the mama. She was broody, and a snake came and got her eggs. And she was still broody. And so she's not happy. She wants her babies. So I'll show you through in here. Oh, you can't see her very well. But I put her with the babies, which were 16 babies. And as soon as I put her in there with the babies, she was a football player, and she just kind of plowed right into them, underneath them, and just like they jumped all over her, and they're still jumping all over her. And she is so happy to be a mommy to 16 babies. See if I can get her out again. She's the only silky hen that I have that's this color. The rest of them are white. And she was under the heat lamp, so her muff got melted. But she loves being a mommy. She handles those 16 babies like crazy. And during the day we have a cage that we put them in, and the cats will come around like, what's in there? You're pretty interesting. And she will run up to that cage like, get back from my babies. It's just really interesting. I didn't know chickens had personality and that they even like people. But seeing them as moms is really interesting. And the babies will jump up and peck at her beak like, what you got in there? What are you going to feed me? So that's that. And the favorals, their wings are coming in like that. Now, I've never seen a salmon favoril in person, so I'm really, really excited to see what they end up looking like and their personalities, because I've read wonderful things about their personalities. Anyway, so I'll go. Oh, there's Daddykirbs. Well, now I'm boring. Let's see what the comments are. Here he comes in his t-shirt.
Welcome back. I meant to have this prepared. You guys are probably used to that. Okay, cornhole. Who threw last? You? Me? So it's my turn. Okay. Man, it's a bad morning. Oh, Mama Kirbs.
It looks so easy.
Some mornings it is. All right. Okay, so this section, because we have our show perfectly divided into segments and sections. So this is a tomato plant cutting. But let's just imagine. So you guys have to use your imagination. Let's do that this morning. Let's use our imagination. This, the imaginations of the YouTube live said that you're done, you're out. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is a full-size tomato plant. Let's just imagine that this tomato plant right here, this cutting that I just took off the side, is a whole plant. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did in order to make so far for 7 or 8, I don't know, very successful clones from the tomato plants doing cuttings. And I did it very simply. There are lots of ways you can do this, and tomato plants are pretty easy to put out roots, so there's a lot of successful ways that you can be successful. But I'm going to tell you how I did it this year, and so far it's been really good. So the tomato plant often puts out lots of side branches and suckers. This right here, that little thing in between, can you see it? Let me see if I can get you. Take a couple leaves off here so you can see a little better. So that little guy growing right between there will grow up and be a sucker. And so it puts out lots of these side branches and suckers. Well, those can be pruned off, helping your overall plant grow a little nicer, because you're pruning a little bit off the bottom. At least that's how I do it. But those plants can also become clones or copies of the original plant. So the way that I do it, or did it this year, I've done it several ways over the last few years, but I would take a nice, healthy, strong side branch or sucker, whichever one looks nice, and use a clean razor blade. This one's not that clean, but or clean snippers if you can get a nice clean cut, and just cut that right off. Now, realistically, the size of this branch is the one I would probably cut, but just for demonstration, I'm going to cut a small one. And I would take all the leaves off the bottom, just like this. And if they're larger side branches, I would cut them off so it's nice and clean. And I would make sure that the spot where it's going to be planted is very moist, like wet, not sopping, goopy, muddy, but very wet. And I keep a piece of rebar, that's just a piece of metal rod, in the garden, And I use it for things like making holes for projects like this. And I would stick this down into the ground about, well, it depends on the length of the, where's my cutting? I lost it. There it is. Let's just say this is going to be the cutting. I would want to go down about that deep. So I would push a hole and I would kind of turn it around a little bit, making sure that hole is nice and open. And then I would just slide this down into that hole and pack the soil around the top of it. I wouldn't worry about trying to compact the soil down around this, because a little oxygen and airspace is probably a good thing down in there. But I don't know if you can see it, but there's lots of little hairs. Those hairs potentially are going to come out and be roots. Now here's the trick. If you're going to do it directly in the soil, you don't want to keep it soppy, muddy. You don't want to keep it super saturated, but you do want to keep it moist. Some people really hate that word moist. I don't understand why, but they do. You want to keep the soil wet but not sloppy. You also have to make sure that there are periods where the soil starts to dry out just a little bit. Like it has to have a cycle of becoming wet and a little bit dry, wet and a little bit dry, because it's when the water recedes and pulls away is when the roots start to grow. It's like when the ground starts to dry out a little bit is when the roots start to grow, or they grow the best. So that's the trick. Putting a nice deep hole, making sure it's good and wet when you start. Let it go through little cycles of slightly drying out, getting wet, slightly drying out, and within a week or so, the top of this, pardon my throat, the top of this is going to start perking up and you're going to see new growth. And that's when most likely you have roots coming out of this and you have a brand new tomato plant. Now there are some really fancy ways to make clones, and someday in the future I actually plan on experimenting with some of that. But for now, this year, this worked out really well, and there's nothing to it really. So it's cheap, it's easy. And this one tomato plant that I actually did purchase has now created, let's see, I think I did 3 of one variety and 4 of another. So I think there's 7 clones, and yeah, all came from the same 2 mother plants. So there's our little gardening section for the Daddykirbs live show on Saturday morning.
Now it's time for the eating section.
If you have ideas on that, or if you know of something that's better, or maybe I said something a little wrong and you want to help correct that, totally open. I love feedback. Okay, let's see what we have here.
Eating section.
Do I know a secret? I know lots of secrets, but I can't talk about them. They wouldn't be secrets anymore. Let's see. Bo is modding. Nice. Yeah, if you want to enter for a shirt giveaway, Building with Brian this morning is giving away a t-shirt. Simply say, I love Building with Brian's story in the chat, and you will be entered to win a t-shirt.
Let me ask Dan.
Yep, asking.
What are you asking me, Luke?
It's time for the eating section.
It's time for the eating portion of... Are you going to eat it? Why not, Luke?
Oh, no, I can't.
You don't like it. Okay, what is this? What do we have here?
Do you know what it is?
Leaf.
A leaf.
It is a leaf. But what kind of leaf?
You know what kind of leaf?
This leaf is called purple basil. This is one of the plants planted in our green stock, the green stock up on the pool deck. It's kind of in the sunlight. You can't see it very well, but it's right there. By the way, Green Stock is a wonderful company, family owned. They pack those things with love and care. And if you're interested in buying a Green Stock, you can do it with my link and my coupon code, my promo code, and save yourself a little money and end up with a wonderful garden that you can put on a pool deck, on a backyard deck, on a patio, or really anywhere else. It's a really small footprint, so you can grow a lot of food in a small space. You're getting pretty good at that, huh? I like Green Stock. I think they're nice gardens.
My favorite thing is opening it up and seeing who packed it.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. They have the packed by, the card that says packed by, and it's one of their family members. Emma packed that green stalk right there. If you watched that video, you get to see my grandson saying, "Thank you, Emma." Susie Bosch. So Happy says, is there any benefit to using a root hormone? I have found with tomatoes, you don't really need it. But I don't I don't reckon it will help or hurt. Man, I said that all wrong. I don't reckon it would hurt much. You can use cinnamon. Kate is saying that. Some people put honey. I think that's to prevent bacteria building up and causing a problem. But for me, a nice clean cut on a tomato and put down either in, you can do it in a pot, like a potting soil if you want to start it in a pot and transplant it. This year I did it directly in the ground. Some people like to start them in water. I've tried that in the past and it does work. I think there's just probably a little more plant shock when they start in water and then you transplant them into the ground. At least it seems that's what it's been for me. The ones that I did this year directly in the ground, there was no shock. When they grew roots, they were growing right where they were planted, and it worked out beautifully. Yes, purple basil. So I think Luke brought me a purple basil leaf because he wants me to eat it. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, are you going to eat it too?
No.
Can you smell it?
Smell it.
Does it smell like normal basil?
Okay, let's eat a purple basil leaf.
What's Dad's reaction?
It's really good flavor. It's not exactly the same as green basil. Very nice and basil-y, but slightly different flavor. Very tasty. We have 3 of those plants growing in that green stalk right there. Oh, there's the cat. I'm going to throw a cornhole. No, wait. Is it your turn or my turn? My turn. Man, totally off this morning.
All right, Luke, you throw one.
Over your shoulder, bud. You got closer than we did.
Wow.
Let's see. Did your elderberry cuttings survive? Ann Smith is asking that. Some of them did. I ended up with, I can't even remember, that was several years ago, but I had multiple cuttings that I tried to grow and ended up with, I think, 3 plants that were planted and survived. This is a very harsh environment, especially up in the orchard where I planted them. It wasn't the ideal place. It's way too much direct sun. Elderberries would benefit from a little less direct sun. When a plant says, when a company that sells plants puts on the label full sun, they often aren't really talking about full Texas sun. It's different. And so those elderberries have really struggled. But this year, up in the orchard, after I think 2 or 3 years, finally I'm starting to get some baby elderberries popping up from around the mother plant that didn't do so well. So possibly the roots got down far enough that now we're actually seeing some of those babies pop up. Where do you get your grow bags? I have purchased them from different places. Some of them came from not sponsors. I didn't get paid for it, but some companies sent me some root pouch that you can get from different places online. I ordered root pouch, I think, from Greenhouse Mega Store. Also, I got a few of them from Root Pouch, the company. Also, a company called Spring Pots, and those are the fabric pots with the spring that's in it, so it holds them up. They sent me a few. What was that other company? Smart Pot sent me a couple. So really, I like all of them for different reasons. It's the same principle. They're all pretty good. I need a tomato with my basil. That's right.
Mm. And some mozzarella.
And some mozzarella and a little bit of dressing. Make a caprese salad. Nice. Susie, you lost your elderberry last summer. I'm so sorry. It's possible that this, like, you think you lost it. Maybe you really did, but one of them that's growing the most babies for me in the orchard is one that I thought that I had lost completely. So keep an eye on that area. Maybe you'll start seeing some babies pop up. Full Minnesota sun, right? Yeah, so a friend of mine, well, Drake, you guys know Drake. She has so the butterfly lady, Drake, she has an elderberry plant up next to her house where it's getting a little less direct sun, and it is just going nuts. It loves that location. So I'm considering taking some of the babies that are popping up in the orchard and transplanting them in different places around the farm, hopefully to find a place where they're going to be a little more happy. What are you smiling at, Luke?
Nothing.
Nothing. Lynx Acres needs some rhubarb. I tried rhubarb and horseradish down here one year because somebody sent me some, and both failed. I think just South Texas, there's several things that don't do well. A lot of things that do well in the Midwest, like the area where we grew up, they just don't do the same here in South Texas. I think it would take a very special little microclimate with lots of water to keep those things alive. And sometimes I figure if it takes so much effort to get something to grow, maybe you just don't need it.
What's your favorite thing to grow?
You know what favorite thing was?
You don't have a favorite thing to grow?
Carrot?
Carrots. Luke likes growing carrots. We did plant some carrots this year. They came up, but I think it was a little bit late and it's starting to get hot. Well, I am trying to keep them watered, but I'm not too hopeful that they're going to become really big carrots. Karen said their horseradish took over their whole yard. I'd like to have some horseradish. I wouldn't want it taking over the whole yard, but I'd like to have some.
Your horehound is.
The horehound plant grows native and wild here, and in the springtime it really takes over patches of the yard. And in previous years I've kind of cut it back because it looks like a weed, but this year I didn't cut any of it back because I noticed the bees absolutely love it. So it'll die back soon enough anyway, and then I can just cut it to the ground and be done with it. But in the springtime the bees go nuts, so I'm going to be leaving that for the bees.
Can Luke throw the last beanbag and then he's going to go back in?
Okay, so Luke is going to go back inside, so we'll go ahead and throw the last beanbag, last star.
You can throw it however you want.
Yeah.
In the hole.
You don't know how to do it?
Yeah, you
Do it. Whoa! Man!
Look at the camera and do a thumbs up. Higher.
You got to get it up here.
No, like this.
All right, so Luke threw the last star. Karen says, what do you use horehound for? Hold on just a second. Let me throw this. Okay, I'm glad we're done with that for this show.
All right, Luke, can you tell her bye-bye? Say, see you when I'm 23.
When I see one, I'm 23.
That's right. On Monday, he's 23. See you then.
Wave.
He's going to go inside. He's hooked up for feed right now. They're going to go get him back in the... Man, look at that shot. He almost made it right in the hole. Horehound, we have used it a little bit trying to make like horehound candies and things like that, because you can buy them like that, because there are benefits, health benefits to it. But we haven't been very successful finding a way that we can use it to where we can really tolerate it, because it's a very bitter. Yeah, it's not that good. But anyway, we let it grow because the bees love it. Haffy says his comfrey is coming up and planted some from seed last year. So the comfrey that you plant from seed will produce a lot of seed, and a lot of people don't care for that because it tends to be invasive or whatever. I would actually really like to have some invasive comfrey because I could use it, but the ones that I planted here on the farm were the ones that were they only propagated from root cuttings, and they did well in the first year or two, but I only have 1 or 2 plants out of like 20 I planted, and they kind of suffer. They're not doing real well. Yeah, don't forget to enter the t-shirt. You guys need a cool t-shirt like this, Building with Brian. All you have to say is, I love Building with Brian's story in the chat, and you will be entered for the giveaway. And I would really love for you to check out Brian's story because he's a wonderful guy. Talking to him, I feel like when I talk to Brian, I feel like I'm talking to an old friend, like truly just a great person. And the story that he has with adopting his kids and building his house, it's really cool. So check him out. Susie says, my comfrey is doing really well, 3 years now. Again, for us, I think the comfrey was planted in the orchard. Again, the orchard has the most sun. It's south facing. I took all the large trees out because I thought that's the way that it should be. And so there's not much shade. There's no shade up there except for what those little tiny fruit trees produce. And yeah, so I'm glad, Susie, that yours are doing well. Some people do really well with comfrey, and ours have been just so-so. We still have a couple plants left, so I've been putting water on a few of them more this year than years past because I want to keep those, and then I'll do some root division and create more comfrey that I can put around the farm. What's going on?
Have you talked about bees?
I have not talked about bees yet. Man, we're way far into this show. If you have not watched the video from yesterday, I think I put that video out at the wrong time. I launched that video last night after I was done editing because I was excited to get it online, but I think launching the video at 9 p.m. Central was not ideal because it had a really slow start, and I'm hoping it picks up and more people get to see that video because there's lots of cool stuff going on in the beekeeping show that I put on yesterday. If you could watch it and share it, that would be fantastic because that would help bump the views a little bit and more people can see that. But I did start a new split and I went through talking about some of the ways that I hope that split is more successful because I thought through it a little more. And so Paul, Pine City Apiary, you asked the question on the channel in the comments, how long do you plan on keeping them cooped up? Because I put a little entrance block on there. And Paul, is Paul still here? Help me out. Hey Paul. Help me out, my beekeeping friends. Paul and those of you who do beekeeping. The suggestion was to block the entrance so the bees can't get out, so that they have to basically adopt this hive as their own. And then in a few days or so, you open that and they do a reorientation flight, and now that hive is theirs instead of going back to the parent hive. That's the plan. Oh, there you go. Hey, Paul. So you asked how many days am I going to keep them cooped up, or how long am I going to keep them cooped up? My thought was 3 to 5 days. I'd love to hear your feedback. If it should be more, let me know. I don't think it should be less than 3 days, but let me hear what you have to say about that.
Isn't that what we do with the chickens?
Yes, we actually do something very similar with the chickens. When we get new chickens, first of all, we like to introduce the young new chickens into the main coop at nighttime.
Which we're getting ready to do.
We are getting
ready.
ready.
We were supposed to do it last night, but we were too tired.
Sometimes we forget. When it gets dark and we get tired, You know, because we're not spring chicks anymore. Although
8 o'clock.
I feel
don't
like
do
one.
anything else.
I feel like one a lot because I have a lot of energy. Not always, but sometimes. Yeah, so we put the chickens in with the new coop at nighttime. That way the bigger, older chickens don't immediately have a problem with that. They're all roosting, they're tired. And then in the morning, it's like, oh, hello, you're here. And they have fewer struggles. And there was another point to that, wasn't there?
So they learned that this is their coop.
Oh, right. And then we keep it locked up for 3 days at least. And all of the chickens kind of reorientate to this is our home. And we all live together.
We also do that when a predator comes.
Yes.
We leave them locked up for 3 days so a predator thinks, I guess there's no more dinner here.
Right. When a predator has come in and found one of our birds, we lock the birds up and we keep them locked up for 3 days or so. And I think what happens, at least what seems like it happens, is that the predators come back the next day and they realize, okay, dinner's not as easy as it was that day. I found something. And then by the time 3 days passes, they've moved on to other places where they can go get an easier meal. Because most predators are more of opportunists. They take what's easy. Raccoons are a little more aggressive, a little more tenacious. They'll stick out a little more.
24 hours is fine.
And they have thumbs. Oh, okay, 24 hours, so it doesn't have to be 3 days. It helps too if you put some grass and twigs in front of the opening, which will distract them and make them do orientation flights. I knew that part. What I was concerned with, Paul, was that if I let them out too soon, 3 days in your opinion is too long. Okay, I was concerned that they would, first of all, just go back to the parent hive, or possibly, not want to stick around and build that comb and take care of those eggs that are in there. Because on the last one, you saw in that video where I had that little nuke next to that parent colony, and they just all, like even the nurse bees, all just left. So 2 things. I'm going to keep them closed in for a little bit. And also, I think I'm going to move that nuke box away from the parent colony before I open it. That way that when they come out, they won't be directly sitting next to the parent hive.
They don't want to move home. It's like a college student. They're away at college.
Yeah, the nuke hive are a bunch of college kids, and they get time to draw for the t-shirt. All right. So Kate, you have the spreadsheet. Give them 30 more seconds to say, I love building with Brian's story. And after that, go ahead and do the random.org.
Oh, wow. It's almost 1 o'clock in Australia. Woo, girl.
Yep. Okay. Do you watch a Canadian beekeeper's blog? He's got some really interesting vlogs right now. So the challenge, Lynx Acres, is that I don't have a lot of time to watch other content. And very often when I get a few minutes and I think, oh, I'm going to watch something and learn something,
I usually call you.
she calls me.
I need
Or there's just something pressing in our life that requires me to leave my phone or the computer, which is fine, but just leaves very little time for those educational moments.
Did we do the drawing?
Let's see. Drawing time. Did Kate do it yet? 17 on the spreadsheet. She's going to do it here in just a few seconds.
Hilda's got the drum roll.
Man, that tea is really good. Kai tea is really good. Oh, wait, Mr. Happy wins. Woo! Happy and I are going to match. Well, that depends. If Happy contacts Brian or Brian contacts Happy, you guys need to get in contact with each other. And if you can't do that, let me know and I'll see if I can facilitate that. But Brian and Happy get together, and then Happy will give his size and his color choice, and Brian will make sure that he gets his t-shirt. Thank you, Brian, for hosting, for providing that gift this morning. And thank you. Oh, he's just saying it. Large Men's putting it right out there. I'm a medium kind of guy. All right. There you go. Building with Brian says, message me in Facebook, and then he'll take care of you. Awesome. Hey, Brian, thank you. I already said that, but you guys, I have met so many wonderful people through online and going to these events like the live conference with Doug and Stacy and the Homesteaders of America over out in Virginia and different places, the Mother Earth News Fairs, places like that. I've met oh, and don't forget the Good of the Land Fest here in Texas, which is where I've hooked up with Brian a few times. I've met so many wonderful people. The community is so amazing. People just want to connect and understand that they're a part of something. And really, if you're in this movement of gardening, homesteading, beekeeping, trying to connect with the land, it is a big movement, but often we can feel isolated because just the nature of what we do keeps us kind of in our own space. But there is such a large number of people doing this, and getting to those events is just, in a way, it's magical because you get to connect with so many like-minded people. I would encourage you to find one of those events. I don't know what I'm going to be able to attend this year.
Well, I'm curious if they're even going to host events.
Right. If they have the event, I may or may not be able to go this year. I don't know. I will keep you guys posted. I'm hoping that the Homesteaders Life Conference in August is still a go.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyway, I can't really predict what I'm going to be able to do, but I encourage you to get out, go to these events, and meet with people, and you will find some friends for life.
I agree.
Let's see here.
What's the next video? Brian said my next video will be the...
Where are you reading? Oh. Brian's next video will be the finishes for the renovation and be talking about his story.
Awesome.
Very good. So I sent to you on your phone.
Oh, okay.
So Wee Tree is talking about the challenge. We can read a few questions. I wasn't really sure how this was going to play out, and I can't read them because my phone is occupied with you guys right now.
Okay, so maybe I can ask you and you can just answer them.
We have a few minutes left. We have 10 questions, and you guys can answer these questions in the chat or come back and replay and post them in the comments. That would probably be more fun. So don't answer them right now. Come back and replay after this post in an hour or two and answer these questions. Okay, number one.
How many rolls of toilet paper do you have at this moment?
How many rolls of toilet paper? I think we probably have 10 or 12 rolls.
Probably.
Because we actually bought a pack a few weeks ago. We found some on the shelf.
What has been the biggest change since the lockdown?
I get to work from home every day. That's amazing.
Where are you currently parked or docked?
Here? On our homestead? I guess that's what it means.
What have you gone without recently?
What have I gone with? Shaking people's hands. Man. So I went over, if you follow my Instagram, I went over to a neighbor, around down the street. I don't know how far exactly, but Rising Kale Farms, my buddy Robert over there is rebuilding his farm to be more hydroponics, and it looks amazing. But when I went there, we kept our distance, and I did not shake his hand, which felt really weird and kind of wrong. Anyway,
it's so rude.
It feels rude.
What are you most grateful for?
Next question.
What do you miss the most?
What do I miss the most? Peace. Lack of fear. Just in general. On social media and news and just in general, people expressing so much fear is troublesome. So I miss peace. Maybe that's weird. But anyway.
How long has it been since you've been at a campsite?
A campsite?
We haven't been camping since We bought the farm?
It's been probably 6, 7, 8
Yeah.
years. Long time.
Loved camping. Loved camping.
I've talked about, dreamed about doing camping spaces here for people to come. Like there's I don't know if you know this, but there's a website called Hip Camp. It's kind of like an Airbnb of camping sites. And I considered for a short time, it was a dream that passed in a hurry, but considered opening up camping sites here. It's not going to happen.
What's your favorite quarantine food?
My favorite quarantine food.
Mine's pizza.
Pizza doesn't have the same feeling anymore with being gluten-free and vegetarian. Let's see.
I really enjoy Adlin's Alfredo.
Adeline's cashew-based Alfredo sauce is wonderful. Her
Woo! I don't know if they can hear us
you probably
anymore.
can't hear us right now, but she also makes a breaded Parmesan or eggplant Parmesan, which is really tasty. And then we do. I like to make nacho salads. I like nacho salads.
Okay. How are you exercising during workouts?
I don't think that we're making any specific effort to work out here.
I am. I'm doing yoga every
She's
day.
doing yoga every day with Luke. I just get out and do things on the farm.
Who are you challenging next?
Oh, number 10 is how are you going to pass this on? So I'm not going to answer that because I don't necessarily like doing the pass it on type of thing. But if when you answer this yourself in the comments, when this goes to replay and you want to challenge other people, feel free to do that. Just direct them to this video for the questions. In fact, I'll see if I can I will post these questions in the description box of this video so you can answer those in the comments. Thank you, Wheat Tree Bonsai, for sending those to me. That was a fun little thing there. We are now 2 minutes over. We believe that everyone has a story.
And every story counts.
Every story counts. We believe your story counts. I'm pointing directly to you. We believe your story counts because we believe you count. Thank you so much for being a part of our story through this video and letting us be a part of yours. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.